All right, so I'm going to interject on this video in the very beginning. I'll go ahead and tell you guys about these steps. Now, let me get out of the truck real quick. Now, these steps, they are a great mod to do. And if you have the steps already, you probably saw the instructions, and the instructions look pretty freaking confusing and complicated, right? It's like 10, 15 pages of blah, 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 blah. A whole bunch of diagrams. You gotta lift the truck up, you gotta take the wheels off, you gotta take the wheel wells out, you gotta take all that stuff out, bump that. You ain't gonna do none of that crap, right? I'll show you in this video the easiest, simplest way how to install these boards. Really, if you had like 2 people, less than 2 hours, right? 5 wires, 2 wires going in through the firewall. You got literally 1 wire going out of the driver's side frame rail, another wire going to the passenger side frame rail, 1 wire going to the battery, and that's it. I mean, it's essentially just zip tie, clean it up, and you're done. And pretty much the sockets that you need is literally the exact same socket for every single thing you gotta unbolt. So really you need like 2 sockets, something to cut with, and somebody to help you just lift these running boards up, and then just basically just plug and play. Really the only panel you gotta remove is where your kick panel is at. That's the only thing you gotta remove, and it's an entire install. It's very simple. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Butter the Great, and in this video we got a couple mods to install. Well, I'm gonna install 1 mod in this video, another mod on another video, but I've had these sitting in my garage for the last few weeks. Let's take a look. Look at that, my Mopar steps. Already taken out of the box, a little parts box. So we're gonna get these bad boys installed today. We're gonna pull the truck around to the back of my house, install these steps, wire it up, and probably go to the dealership tomorrow to get it flashed. So go through that whole experience in this video. So enough of this fluff. Let's go install this stuff. All right, so what we got in here? Bizzle, wire harness, zip ties. All right. What are you doing with that? Our running boards. That's where you gotta go to the dealer right there to add the sales code to the vehicle. Blah. Gotta pop off a seal plate. You gotta take 2 bolts off underneath the dash. I didn't even tell you what to do, just shows you photos. You gotta drop your wheel liners on both sides of the truck. There's a lot of stuff to do just to plug it in. All right, so I basically looked through this whole little diagram. It's a whole bunch of diagrams and not a bunch of wiring. I got the gist of just skimming through it, looking, seeing where connectors got to go, and just using some common sense. The only main part I see that's going to be difficult is getting part of that wire through the grommet. I'm going to try to disturb as least amount of things possible when I do this install. So knock this one down here. There should be plenty enough right there. I'll just scoop this over this hump. So this one little tab right here, just take you like a little tool and kind of pull it down, and you can pull this wheel well down just enough to snake this wire right behind it. That way you don't gotta risk it getting caught up in anything, and then boom, bam, bizzle. Should be plenty of room. That's that side taken care of. Okay, so I discovered that, you see right here I put my hand, well, not put my hand, but you see right here I got this cable running behind that clip right there. I discovered if you just shove your hand up in here, you can bend this plastic up just enough. You just get your hand through and it's snake to pull the cable through, and then boop, push it back, and it'll mold right back into place. And you'll never know that you did that. Then once you do that crap, the cable's right here by the mount, and you're good to go. Now let me go do the other side, route it around. So I got that harness laying right there. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this harness right here. It said it's supposed to go down on the firewall a little bit further down, so I'm gonna just mock it in place. I'm gonna go ahead and route this one over here. Then essentially do the same thing, just route it over, take it down there. Then that one little clip just like right here, like I said, that one little clip, just take that one down, so just take the wire behind it. So I'm gonna take this wire and run it right underneath there. See this little black channel, so I'm gonna run it right here on top of that black channel to get it away from the supercharger. You can see right there, to keep away from the supercharger to protect it some. And keep it off that master cylinder, just in case there's any heat. So I'm gonna go route it on top, and I'll be back in a second. So, let me bring this wire underneath this one. Basically just ran that one cable to the passenger side for that frame rail. And then this one cable right here, just ran to the driver's side frame rail. Then I'm gonna put this cable under this bar and hide it behind this battery. And then literally, we're already on page 8. So I gotta make this connection right here. Take the fuse panel off, undo the screw for the power, and boom, bam, bizzle. Put it back on there. That's 8 pages in like literally, what, I think 20 minutes?
The running boards down at the bottom. What the hell you doing?
They're power running boards.
They move when you open the door?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you fancy, huh? No wonder he had to pull out the instruction manual.
To disconnect the battery, that bolt right there, that's a 10mm. And make sure you take out this little battery detector sensor thing. Take that loose too. And over here in the fuse box, we can take the panel off. One of these bolts right here. And you can see that you need a tall socket, and it is a 10mm. So now all I gotta do is make sure my wires ran the way I want it, and then just boom, bam, bizzle. And there goes the fuse for it. It's a 40-amp fuse. Take the cover off. That's kind of fuse takes, like an automotive fuse. Route my wire. I'm probably going to route it down there beside the battery so it can't really be seen. And then I'll move to the next step. All right, so to get these cables through, you got to go through the firewall. Now, there is 2 parts to go through. There's this little nipple. But that little nipple right there, I'm probably going to circle it on the footage, but that nipple right there, you got to cut that top of the nipple off and stuff one of the cables through there. And then the instructions want you to go right in there where that little fittings at. There right there is where the parking brake comes out. I want you to put a hole right in there and slide the other part of the harness through that hole. The only real hard part about the install is you have to go and put those cables through the firewall. Those are the only 2 tough things to do. Other than that, everything else is a piece of cake. The wire that's like, it has like a big old thick little red wire on it and like 4 little small ones. That one right there, the instructions tell you to push it through this little tiny little grommet that's up there on the firewall. Now, if you want to do it that way, the best way I can tell you to get that cable through is to take 2 of those little small wires and tape it to the red wire, and take the other 2 little small ones and pull it all the way back and then tape it up as far back as you can and slide it through the that grommet, right? That was the easiest way of me trying about 30-40 minutes to get that one wire through that grommet. But I'm gonna go ahead and save you that aggravation and tell you a good way to do it. Or another way you can do it is you can probably just put that wire through the same grommet that you're gonna put that those other little 4 cables through that's on that one wire, right? Because it tells you to put some wires in through that grommet at the top, put the other cables through the parking brake grommet. So you can literally probably put both cables through the parking brake grommet and save yourself the aggravation. but I just did it how the paperwork said how to do it, so that's just how I do it. Okay, so this cable right here, I got that fish through that little hole that it wants you to go through. Then the other cable, what it wants you to do, it's right there where the inertia brake come out. You see that screwdriver head right there. Once you just poke a hole and stick the cable through there. So I'm gonna just stick this last little cable right here through that hole, and that's pretty much all the wiring routing done. All I gotta do is just zip tie everything up. That should be up ready to go. All right, so you really see that or not? Cable going to that grommet, cable going to that grommet. Exactly where it says right there in the instructions. Right there's a little nip that you cut off right there. Cable go through there. Right there where the pocket brake goes through, you put a little hole right there. We got those both routed in there. But we're gonna go ahead and put these clips in for this module. Let's show. Let me turn my light on. But yeah, you can see right there, that cable going through there. Then up there, it's kind of hard to see, but it's up in there. All right, so I'm gonna grab the module and the 3 tabs. Let's install this bad boy. So there goes the module right there. Got these 3 little pieces right there above where it's at. Get that installed real quick. All right. One little brad nail. Just better do it. Boom. There we go. One little brad nail. So you need something very freaking small to push this harness in. Make sure you find something small. So I'm just gonna follow the instructions. Another thing to note. One thing is, when you're looking at these diagrams, you do not insert it based off of this. You gotta turn around, and that's how it's supposed to go. So from the back side, that's how these diagrams are. So make sure you do that before you put these pins in. And for this one right here, see how I tell you to do red and then the little orange color blah 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 pin. Make sure you put the small ones in first before you put that big thick red one in, because it makes it harder to push that orange one in. Do that one last. Save yourself some daggone trouble. Like I said, that one right there, you don't wire in based off of this way. You turn it around backwards, and that's how you wire it in. So let me wire this one in, and I should be done wiring this harness. Gray harness. See how it says BN green, BNGN. Now assume that's green, and BNGN. I don't know what the hell is BN, but that cable is not brown. So it says green. So I found 2 cables that had green in it. So I put the solid one in the middle part, and I put the one with the stripes on the outside. Basically just followed the same thing that BG and BNBG did the same thing right there. Because it does not make sense with the color that it said is on there, but at least I can follow which one was green and BN green and whatever that BG color is. I don't know what color that is, but hey, that's what this looks like on the diagram. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the little locking little pin in there, and then we're gonna hook both these connectors in there. Then probably there's one more end to put in for this one right here into the actual connector on the side. So I'll show you that in a second, but let me go ahead and lock this last one in there. I already put the locking pin on this one. So I'm gonna put the locking pin on this one and then plug it into that harness I installed up there. Move to the next step. All right, so I just need to find this white little harness up in there. Connect to the any empty socket up there, and then just find me a ground, and I'm good. All I gotta do is just hook the steps up and zip tie. All right. In order to get to this little harness right there, you gotta take off your little kick panel. So all you gotta do is just pull it up. Ain't no but these small little plastic little pins in here. And connect to any empty socket. Boom, there we go right there. So I'll just plug it in and hook it to this ground right here. And I'm done. All I gotta do is zip tie to make sure no cables come flying out. Install my boards and I'm good. Let me just plug this bad boy in. I'll see you in a second. All right, so plugged in up here, plugged in right here for the ground. All you gotta do is use the same 10mm you've been using the entire time. So all you do is pop your kick panel back on, zip tie all your wires up, and you're good to go. Now to the easy part of doing the install. Bam. Look at that, look at that. Look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it. Secure to electrical duct with long zip cables. Okay. Yeah, all I gotta do is just zip tie. And then get some little sealant. Then all I gotta do is go to the dealership tomorrow and get it flashed. Can't really see any wires. The only part you can see about the wires right there. I have to zip tie it right there because I'm flat routing close to the engine. So here we go. Wire all zip tied. Then it goes up under that little electrical thing. And then it's just zip tie right there. Yeah. Anytime I get my little zip tie gun out, I always have an excuse to bring it out. And then it just loosely zip tied right there and going down over the fender, away from everything that's gonna mess with it. And there goes my cable dangling. All I should be able to do is hook it in, put my steps on. All I do is put my steps on, I'm good to go.
I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Boy, all that like Keenan. Still got crack, they fiendin'. Flow still hot like Phoenix. Shine so bright, I'm gleaming. This off top, I'm tweaking. Fresh out the rat like Neiman. And I'm still trying to fight my demons. Cause we all gotta act like Tina. That's why I gotta ride with the Nina. Outside, it's a war going on. Maybe put my hands on my head like the Macarena. They want you walking on board like Kima. And give an F to you like John Cena. Putting blood on the brand new Beamer. Trying to earn 8 stripes like Adidas. You get cold when you ride with the heater. It'll turn you to a dog like a Keto. And expose to a cat like a cheetah. They smoke my partner like reefer. Dímelo porque o no entiendo. Mi gente must really need Jesus. They shed real blood. I never seen the crypt and I believe it. It's too easy. Too easy. I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. It's too easy. I can do this with my eyes.
Oh, they came down. So did something right. Made it feel kind of damn flimsy. Whew. So that install is done. It took about a good 3 hours to do this install, but I think it can be done in probably like an hour or two, especially if you had 2 people helping you the whole time. Get everything kind of like roughed into place, like the wires ran. And so you got to run one wire down there. And I already tell you a tip to just push your hand all through there to pull the cable through on that one. And just ride on the back side. Well, I'll open the hood in a second. Open the hood. And remember, now you got stuff, all I can come down, so don't bust your shin like I did the first time. Alright. So, I mean, you can see, you can't really see any wires. So, right there is where that loom's going to be at right there. Then you can run one wire right here to your battery box. Then you're going to run a wire on the back side of the engine over the wheel well. You're going to do the other wire right here on the back side over the wheel well. I mean, that's really it. And then just do your little connections underneath the seat. I mean, you cannot tell I did anything. So I don't know why the instructions they tell you to pull all this crap out. I mean, there's no reason to pull it out. I don't know why it takes you to do that. If you had another person to help you, because one of you guys could be running wires through while the other person's like zip tying, So that'll definitely cut your time down. And then there's somebody to help you put these steps up. Like I had my brother help me put these steps up. And I did not know it will automatically start working once you plug the power in. I thought I had to go to the dealer for them to start working like that, but I guess it's only really needed to go to the dealer in order to get the button in the Uconnect. So, but the one thing I noticed when I got on here, they feel kind of flimsy. Like they got some play to them, so they're not very sturdy. I mean, I'm 200 pounds, so that might be why. But I don't think you want two people stepping on the steps at the same time. And there is no denying that these steps, they are freaking awesome. Like I said a little bit in the video, they feel kind of flimsy. They kind of give like a little giveaway. I'm not gonna tell you about install and don't tell you about the bad size bottom either. So, and that's gonna do it for this video, guys. These steps, I mean, they are freaking awesome. So clean looking. They come down when you need them. They go away when you don't need them. Highly recommend you putting these on your truck. Look at that. 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 And it has a frame rail too. So can't about to see your frame rail no more. Love it. So if you guys found the install helpful, make sure you leave me a like, comment, subscribe. And until the next video, I gotta find something else to modify.